kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, and the Atlanta Motor Speedway for round number 4 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Tony Trapasso up at the booth with you tonight, joined with me by a special guest, our defending series champion, Lane Hosler. And Lane, missing out on track, but glad you could join me in the booth, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting experience here for me.
Yeah, first time doing it from this side of things, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's nice to kind of be up above watching things, seeing how this turns out. It's going to be interesting if anybody can stop Trevor tonight.
It absolutely is, and you bring up a point. Let's take a quick look at the points coming into tonight, as we're going to get right to that. Let's try that again. There we go. Trevor Ryan currently sitting atop the points, 131 to 106 for Tom Richter. Dominic Rossi currently slotted into third, only 1 point to the good over Evan Gaston. What a turnaround Gaston has had this season compared to previous seasons that we've seen him run.
Yeah, he's always had a lot of speed. It's good to see him up front.
And making his return to the league in style, Greg Barnett, currently tied for 5th with Larry Stubblefield. James Nelson, Shane Calhoun, Ryan Twinman, and Brian Toole, and TJ Allen all rounding out your top 10, as Toole and Allen are tied for that final spot. And, I mean, it's still early in the season. There's still a lot of racing left. But, you posed the question, does anybody have anything to stop Trevor Ryan? That kid has been on a tear since Daytona.
Well, you got to look at all the good plate track guys. Greg's really good at plate track. Kennett's really good at plate tracks. Steven's got a win at Talladega, I think it was. So even with Ryan being in there, there's a lot of good guys on plate tracks.
Well, one of the good guys on plate tracks is in the booth with us right now, Ryan Twinham, your arch nemesis from last season, and Ryan didn't get any practice in. His hauler showed up late tonight, but and just as I say that, he jumps out of the booth. But another man who is shown to be good on plate tracks, Joey Stiers in 23 is going to be our in-race reporter tonight. Joe, what's it feeling like out there?
Track feels pretty good. I love it's got that super speedway feel to it. So we're going to have cars bumper to bumper around here, and it's going to be who can push the best and who can get pushed the best is going to be the winning strategy today, I think.
It absolutely is. Is the hot lap session getting ready to wind on down here? Everybody going in for their final last minute tweaks, grab that final drink before we get things kicked off here for qualifying. And it's taking a quick look at the weather conditions tonight. A little bit before 5 p.m. in sim time, 2 mile an hour wind, pretty negligible, 78 degree ambient air temperature, 108 degree track temperature is kind of being expected here as the checkered flag flies for the practice session. So, triple digits in Hotlanta is to be expected. As we click things over, there we go, officially to lone qualifying. Going to wait to see who's going to be the first one to roll it off pit road. And looks like it's going to be the 15, Jamie LaRoque. As he's starting to roll it, Shane Calhoun in the 004. He's rolling. Jeremy Morrison with us tonight as well. There's Jay Culp in the 88, the Marine Corps Toyota. Which, yeah, that does seem kind of weird to say that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not every day you hear the Toyota ranked in there.
Yeah. But hey, sponsorship is sponsorship. Blaine Woodruff rocking the throwback camel colors tonight. Let's see who else is deciding to play. Dominic Rossi starting to roll in the safe light number 11 being scored as the 78, though. As Jamie LaRoque on the trigger. Give me the first one to lay a time down here. So far, so good. Purple in the first sector. Second sector for LaRoque. Provisional P1. Shane Calhoun goes into second quick. Morrison going to slot into third. Here comes Culp. Out of turn number 4 with a good head of steam. Culp's going to go fourth quick. Let's take a look at Steve West in the 999. He's only evil when he's upside down. And it looks like LaRoque and Calhoun both just negated their second laps. I stand corrected. Calhoun goes to the top of the pile and immediately bumped off by the Canadian. Jeremy Morrison to the top. And now Culp. Let's see, Stephen Tuck starting to roll it. Our in-race reporter, Joey Stiers, there he is, taking the green now. Blaine Woodruff's on a run right now. Can he hang on to it? Yes, he can. Top of the pile for the Ford. As there is the Goose Island Brewing number 8 of Ryan Twinham, making his first appearance on track tonight. First lap for Steyer's, only 8th quick, but he's right down on that red line for lap number 2. Try to get this thing wound right up. Stephen Tuck and the Liberty University Toyota starting to roll right now. As we're following along with Steyer's, good lap so far. Going to improve, but by how much? 3rd quick. Not too shabby. Twinham on the clock right now. Out of turn number 4 with a good head of steam. This can be a decent lap. Of the first laps, that's been one of the best ones we've seen. And there's Stephen Tuck coming down the back straight away in the Liberty University number 10. Still waiting on a whole slew of drivers to close time. And they are quickly running out of time. If you're not out on track now, you're not getting any laps in. First lap for Tuck. 9th quick. Twinham up to 4th on his 2nd lap. Not too shabby. So, Blaine, we were talking with Joe earlier, and he said that with the 70% fuel fill these guys are looking at tonight, depending on where you are in traffic, we're looking right around 30 to 35 laps. And I couldn't help but think to myself, if you're going to be in traffic and this track races like a plate track, you'd almost be better off just riding for the first 2 fuel stops. Try to save a handful of laps here and a handful of laps there, and only make it a 2-stop race if you can.
Yeah, I with the way the draft package works here, and with really the way this league is, I foresee this race breaking into maybe 2 or 3 packs and groups of people who are trying to work together to both get on and off pit road clean and save fuel. It can be tricky. I think the first run, everybody's going to be kind of together, and then right there at the end of the first run is when you're going to start to see strategy.
Sounds fair. Take a quick look at tonight's starting grid. Blaine Woodruff setting quick time with a 32.20. 5 thousandths to the good over Jay Culp, who's going to start outside row number 1. Row 2 is going to be our in-race reporter, Joe Steyer's. He's going to be joined with his teammate, Ryan Twinham, as Dominic Rossi and Jeremy Morrison making up row number 3. Row 4 is going to go to Stephen Tuck and Shane Calhoun. Jamie LaRoque and Steve West going to make up row number 5. Row 6 going to see Trevor Ryan and TJ Allen, with row number 7 going to Tom Richter and Nate Brown. And I just want to double check that. Yes, West was the last one to lay a time in qualifying. Everybody else lined up via their iRating. So we've got Tom Richter.
You're really going to have to speak up when you talk.
Fair enough, Joe. Fair enough.
Sorry, I wasn't talking to you, Tony. My bad. Continue. We're ridden up, boys. I'm excited for this race.
Absolutely. Is row number 8 going to see Avram Gaston and Tim Cook, Brian Toole and Kevin Hayes in row 8. Row 9, that was row 9. Row 10 is going to see Ken Ayland and Ken Pack, Chris Smith and Greg Barnett in row 11. Row 12 is going to see David Connell and Larry Stubblefield, with Tommy Osborne and Fred Garcia starting shotgun on the field in row number 13. So 26 trucks scheduled to roll it here tonight, as fields start to roll behind the pace car now. 100 laps of scheduled distance, as 4 total sets of tires to get them through, and only a 70% fuel fill. And we've been told during practice we're looking 30 to 35, depending on how much fuel conservation you go to.
I'll tell you what, at the end of each one of these runs, these guys are going to be wanting tires too. It's not typically a plate track thing, but doing Road to Pro last Thursday, tires definitely came in handy toward the end of a run.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As the field worked its way into the 3-4 complex behind the pace car, track temperature 103 degrees as we get ready to turn them loose. 100 laps of scheduled distance. The only thing left for me to say is, it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab an ice cold Coke because it's time to get it on in hot Atlanta. Race fans, it's show time!
Green, green, green.
Green flag comes out. Culp gets the better jump. As here comes Twinham back up the inside.
Tell you what, I wonder if Culp jumped the start there.
That's a good possibility.
From my vantage point, it looks like he jumped the start.
Well, we'll see here in a minute or so if he has to go serve a pass through. Right now, though, Ryan Twinham, Blaine Woodruff, Joey Stiers, our in-race reporter, Dominic Rossi, and Jeremy Morrison rounding out your top 5. And it looks like he did jump the start. As I'm hearing, he's going to have to serve a pass through.
Ooh, that's a tough start to this race.
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to recover really from that.
He should be. As long as he gets on and off pit road good, he'll be all right.
Yeah, but you're going to go a lap down regardless, because you figure that the delta from entrance cone to exit cone is just shy of a full lap here. So this is going to be a tough one, but right now it's all Ryan Twinham out front. Blaine Woodruff not really giving him a ton of pressure. Dominic Rossi looking up into that second lane. No real help yet, but trying to let that Toyota run as here comes Joe on the outside. Twinham jumps up to the second lane, and this is what we've been seeing here in the new Atlanta. That second lane is really where you want to be, simply because you can carry so much more speed through the corners, and you're not bogging the truck down.
Oh yeah, the bottom line gets checked up real bad going into 3, and then to be honest, even being on the top, the truck will get tight coming off the corners pretty bad.
Well, the other thing we've noticed too, Morrison has a handful coming off the bump. He still doesn't have that thing correct. Hang on to her, son.
We got one on the apron too on the back.
Trying to see who that is. That's Culp. That's the 88 after doing the pass-through. Meanwhile, back up in front, Woodruff and Twinham door to door. And what I was about to say is, we've noticed that the bump off the turns in 2 and 4 seems to be a little bit more pronounced on that high line, but it's a double-edged sword where you want to be up there and dealing with that bump because the truck is more free.
Yeah, you definitely just have to make sure you're on top of it. If it catches you off, then it's really hard to correct it once it starts to go.
And that seems to be across the board, no matter what car you run here. It's almost impossible to catch a slide off of 4, a 2 and 4. 4 being more of the calamity corner, though, because of the gusting winds that you can get here at Atlanta. You've got a free shot at the crosswind coming through 4, whereas you kind of have the banking of 2 and the billboards there to kind of block that wind coming off of 2. Right now, no real movement up in front. Your biggest mover is going to be back here around 12. That is the 64 of David Connell, starting to make some headway. First season we're seeing him in the series, already making some moves. Larry Stubblefield is plus 10, up to 14th. And Fred Garcia on the plus side, plus 10 up to 16. And then things start to break down a little bit, as Fred is basically the last truck in this lead freight train that we're seeing. Then you got about a half second back to Brian Toole in that Caterpillar number 99. Smith, Osborne, Gaston, and then a big gap back to your points leader, Trevor Ryan and company. But those guys are kicking themselves for not taking qualifying. Actually, they moved back on their own. Minus 10 for Ryan, minus 10 for Allen, minus 10 for Richter. Shane Calhoun is minus 17. Those guys are dropping to the back on purpose, it looks like.
That's part of that strategy. I bet those guys are all working together trying to save fuel.
That's exactly what it looks like, as they're a good 7 or 8 miles an hour off the pace that these lead trucks are setting.
Oh, got another one loose. Got one in the wall.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Boy, Nate Brown involved in that one. Let's take a look at what happened to the 5 here. It happened right behind Joe. Here you see Brown.
Yep. For some reason, Dominic went down on the apron, and I think it checked up the field behind him.
No, it was the 99 that caught the apron. It was Steve West. And then he got into Dominic, and that's what broke all hell loose. Let's watch that again.
It looks like he gets loose going into one.
West overshot one, went down onto the apron. The 11 freaked out, got up into Nate, and then boom goes the dynamite. The 23's around. And there are a lot of torn up race trucks now.
Steven Tuck took some damage as well.
There's a lot of drivers that took damage. We'll watch this one again here. And there you see the 99 get a little loose going into one. Goes down on the apron. The 11 freaks out. And that was net code with the 29. Boy. 15 just went for a wild one. That was Jamie LaRoque.
I'll tell you what, the luckiest driver out there right now is Greg Barnett. He went right through that and barely missed the 15.
Let's see if I can find Greg so we can ride on board with him. There he is. This is exactly what he just saw. Whoa! Yeah, that's definitely a Code Brown moment.
Oh yeah, Greg ought to be buying a lottery ticket tomorrow.
Screw that, I'd stop driving right now and go buy it tonight. But that left us with wholesale pit stops. Barnett, the only one not to come down to at least get fuel. Blaine Woodruff and Steve West, though, both got tires, as did Fred Garcia. Everybody else looks like fuel only if you're not doing damage repair, which there are a ton of trucks on pit road right now doing damage repair. Stubblefield, Gaston, Cook, Richter, Culp, Tuck, Connell, LaRoque, all spending extra time on pit road. And just like that, the lights are already out on the pace car. Burnett going to lead us back to green. Morrison going to start to his outside.
Tell you what, right now might be a good time to check in with our in-race reporter, see how that first few laps went.
Joey Stiers, you got us.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, how'd that first run feel until all hell broke loose around you?
First run felt good. I was trying to hook up with Ryan there early, and we were making that high side work. And then we started kind of ripping the wall, and the guys on the inside were just way more formed up and could have a run off the corners. And they started getting past us. And yeah, it was a little hairy there with that wreck. I saw that car go dive down to the apron, and I thought for sure it was coming back up. And I look in my mirror, and there's just trucks going around everywhere. So we just missed that, thankfully.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
Absolutely.
Well, you and your teammate going to start right next to each other this time. More of the same, I'm assuming, is the game plan?
Yeah, I'd like to get up to the front because you can kind of control both lanes here if you maneuver it just right. But it's going to be interesting to see what Greg does because I think we have at least 13 laps more fuel than he does in his truck. So if he has to pit by himself, he could get trapped a couple laps down, and that could be his race.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be the case. But yeah, you're exactly right. It's a 12-lap difference between the have and have-nots. So best of luck to you as the lights are out on the pace car. So Barnett, Morrison, Twinham, Stiers, Rossi, Woodruff, West, Allen, Pack, and Trevor Ryan back into the top 10. Barnett, though, your biggest mover currently.
Tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see what Greg does here on this restart. I know Old Atlanta, it was real easy to spin the tires. I don't know how it's been since the repave. We're probably about to find out.
It hasn't been quite as bad or quite as pronounced, but yeah, you can still light them up. And for those of you wondering, I hate spring. Hay fever sucks. As the pace car is into the Geico restart zone they go.
Green, green, green.
Barnett pulls the trigger, and we are back underway. Compliments of our friends from the ringsidereport.net. For all your boxing, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, professional wrestling needs, you need to look no further than ringsidereport.net for all the latest info. And you can find their podcast where you find all your favorite streaming services. 3 wide going into turn number 3. Rossi on the low side. And contact. Morrison, Barnett get into it. Around goes the 18. Barnett's into the wall. And how is that not a caution? There it is.
That was crazy. I've not seen a crash go that long without a caution in a while.
As we're checking in with Chris Smith, he caught a big piece of it. Ugh. Trying to take evasive action. That's what brought the caution out. Let's back this one up a little bit. You're going to see Barnett. This is the restart of the race. So Barnett's going to get a decent getaway. Here come Twinham and Stiers to his inside. Morrison's going to take him 3 wide. And just, it looked like it might have been net code. Let's watch that again. Backed it up and watch that one more time, shall we? See what the boys in the chopper picked up. Here come Twinham and Stiers. There goes Morrison to take it 3 wide. I could have wheeled my fat crippled ass between those 2 trucks. That was pure net code. You could have fit a full tire width between those trucks. So Once again, netcode strikes. And Barnett comes out on the losing end. Well then.
Unfortunately, that's just kind of a product of this type of racing. You get a lot of trucks running together. It's more common that you're going to have these netcode issues.
Well, it's also been more common since the last update rolled out with iRacing. Ever since last Tuesday, netcode has plagued the servers. I mean, this is like the third or fourth race that I've done here this week, and it's been nothing but netcode issues all week. But we had some takers bringing it down pit road to try to pit farm. Some guys coming down just to pack it full of fuel again. A lot of guys still on pit road trying to get damage repair done, though. Jeremy Morrison starting to roll it after a minute and a half on pit road. Tim Cook doing the same. Matter of fact, Cook had just come out of the pits when that broke off. Greg Barnett had to tow. Jay Culp still on pit road after towing. Stephen Tuck, Nate Brown, and Jamie LaRoque have all decided to call it a night early as the lights go out on the pace car. Working lap 20 of 100 here tonight. It's about a fifth of the way through this. Twinham and Stiers on the front row. Dominic Rossi going to restart right behind him in the safe light 11. And Blaine Woodruff back into the top 5.
Let's see if Joey and Ryan do a little bit of team tactics here and see if one of them lets the other down or up.
I'm trying to plead with them. We'll see how it goes.
Answers that question. Gentlemen, please excuse me a second.
I think with this new repave restarts, you're not spinning your tires as much as you would on the old asphalt.
Green flag, green flag.
Ryan gets a really good jump. He's got Dominic following behind him. Dominic's got a run on the bottoms, but he doesn't have any help. So Joey's going to get to the 8 and see what happens here. That's the downfall of not having help. Dominic had it the first lap, and then the whole top was lined up. He just got freight trained. Don't look now. Here comes Jeremy Morrison working back on the outside. Looks like he got a lot of that damage fixed. He's going to drop in the line in 6th now. Oh! And the teammates take each other out. Looks like Ryan Twinham got down on the apron, got a little loose, and Joey had nowhere to go and ran into the back of him.
Wow.
Joey, it looked like you took a lot of damage right there.
Sure did. Yeah. Ryan just hit the apron and, like you said, nowhere to go. That's wild.
So that is going to put Blaine Woodruff back out front.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. Luckily, we were watching that live when it happened, as my dinner was coming up.
All good, all good.
So, well, it shakes things up a little bit. Again, hate hay fever season. Well, that's going to hand the lead of the race over to the Smokin' Joe 71 of Blaine Woodruff. Dominic Rossi, Jeremy Morrison back into the top 5. Ken Pack up 16, currently sits in 4th. There he is back there in the 12. And rounding out your top 5 is going to be Steve West in the 999. And his pace car is lights out.
Tell you what, this race might end up being a battle of attrition. We've still got just over 70 laps to go. A lot of injured trucks out there.
I see this as we're quickly dwindling down. I'm showing only 18 left on the lead lap, with TJ Allen being the first truck 1 or more laps down back in 19th. Matter of fact, 1 lap down and out of the race. So what do you know about that? Osborne still on pit road. Culp, Barnett still on pit road. Tuck, Connell, Brown, and LaRoque have all decided to put it on the hauler early. As type of restart is Woodruff going to have here? We saw what he got on the initial hit. Let's see what the restart's going to show. The old Jimmy Spencer throwback scheme.
Green, green, green.
Waits till about midway through that Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and we are back underway. As here comes Morrison up the inside on Rossi, 2x2, going into turn number 1. As everybody trying to get up to speed already.
Tell you what, Blaine got a great jump, but hopefully what happened to Greg doesn't happen right here. Looks like they're going to run him down really quick.
And that's exactly it. This track races more like a plate track than anybody wants to admit. And you've got to treat the restart zone like it's a plate track and don't get too far out, because all you're doing is giving everybody a run at you down the back chute. And they're looking to take it 3 wide. Morrison is crazy enough to try it, brave enough to try it, and skilled enough to pull it off. Rossi's starting to fall back just a little bit as Morrison's going to jump up to that second shelf. Side by side with Woodruff going into turn number 3, drag race. Give the advantage slightly to Morrison. Here comes Woodruff back on the inside. No real drafting help yet. Morrison getting a good shove from Rossi. And just like that, Morrison's going to lead his first lap of the night. Oh, Canada. That second lane's starting to really get organized, and that's going to be scary for the rest of these guys if they can get very organized, or more organized than they are, I should say. Got a little bit of a break going on here. Throw a blanket over your top 6 or 7, and you got a little bit of a gap. Fred Garcia is the caboose in this little freight train of 9. Then you've got about a half a second back to Tom Richter in the 34. There you see him. Trevor Ryan starting to make some headway back to even from where he started, as Adam Gaston +3 right behind him in 12. Ryan Twinham starting to make some headway. Got that truck sorted out. And, you know, Blaine, you saw this last season as, you know, Ryan would take a damaged truck and still run the wheels off it.
Oh yeah, Ryan's truck doesn't look all that damaged. I think he's going to be all right here. The downfall for him is that he lost his drafting partner, so he's either going to have to find somebody he trusts or hope for the best at this point.
Yeah, Steyer's, that truck looked like it's been through a war, and he is almost 30 miles an hour off pace.
Yeah, she's pretty slow, boys.
Yeah, you might want to pit that thing, man, because you're quickly becoming a hazard out there. I mean, 30 miles an hour is not safe. Woodruff.
Meanwhile, back up front, it looks like Blaine Woodruff has retaken the lead.
Stephen West giving him a good shove now, as West not wanting to play nicely with Morrison for some reason. You would think those two Chevys would want to work together. But right now, the blue oval of Woodruff shows the way. And they're pretty much single-filed out behind them. Morrison trying to find some fresh air to get to the front end of that truck to get it to rotate. Peeking out to go side by side with West going into 3, though.
Jeremy is bound and determined to make that top lane work.
There's not enough rubber up there yet, I don't think.
Well, he's trying to do it alone at the moment, and that's not going to work. Even though the bottom lane is not lined up at all, they still have a lot more momentum than he's going to be able to generate by himself.
You had just hit the nail on the head right there. And especially with the track conditions cooling off as much as they have, we're down from 10 degrees from when we started qualifying. So this track's under partly cloudy skies. Oh, contact between Morrison and West there. Everybody keeps pointing in the right direction, but here comes Rossi to give a hand to Morrison.
Big push coming here from Dominic to Jeremy. See if they get out front.
Greg Barnett finally out of pit road.
Dominic got into the wall a little bit going into 3.
And I think
that's going to break up the top lane again.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But he's got that momentum back quickly. As Woodruff swings it wide, that's going to open the door for West. He's not going to want to do that too often. Because Stephen West will stick a nose in there sooner or later. Working lap 37 of 100 here tonight. Woodruff, Morrison, West, Rossi, and Pack, your top 5 right now. Throw a blanket over your top 16 as they're running pretty single file. A little bit of separation between 11th and 12th with Ryan Twinham half a second to the good over Shane Calhoun. Twinham kind of the caboose in this little freight train at the front as he's following your points leader Trevor Ryan around right now. Ryan not doing anything crazy, just kind of riding. And it's what we would expect this early, but they are racing the doors off those trucks up the front.
I think if I was out there, I would probably be in about the same position as Trevor right now. It's a long way to go to be side drafting and pushing too hard.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and especially considering most of these guys have been down pit road at least once already. Some guys have already been down twice. Woodruff, West, Rossi, and Pack have all been down once. Most of the rest of these guys have been down twice or more getting damage repair. Morrison being one of those that has gone down twice. And you can see the speeds these guys are hitting at the front of this piece. You know, about 175, hauling it off in turn number 3. I mean, these are, let's face it, these are Daytona speeds that we're seeing. Ooh, Morrison flirting with the wall through the dog leg. That's not going to bode well. Rossi had it well spotted, though, and stayed off him. Good spot in that one from Dominic.
I think what's most impressive here the last few laps is how Blaine is able to keep the lead and maintain a steady gap. These guys on the outside keep getting runs, and it kind of just falls apart. Blaine doesn't really have a whole lot of help. He's not getting pushed crazy hard, but they're just able to maintain it.
Yeah, him and West are using more of the aero bubble than the actual physical contact to push those trucks along.
As I say that, though, Jeremy gets clear.
There you go. And Morrison doesn't get clear enough, though. Woodruff right back on him as Stiers bails off to the apron to stay out of the way. Again, very wounded Chevy, about 30 miles an hour off the pace. So he's got to be driving as much out of the rearview mirror right now as he is out the windshield. But Woodruff, West, Morrison, Rossi, and then you got a little bit of a gap back to the 12 of Ken Pack, Ken Allen in the Stewie Freeze in 52, Kevin Hayes, Fred Garcia, plus 18 for Garcia, your biggest mover right now. Let's talk about Fred for a second, shall we? With all the work that he puts in to not only just the league, but the website for the league itself, all the stats that man keeps, we would be completely lost without Fred Garcia for this league. Fred, you don't get enough credit. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Yeah, from day one, I've been kind of on and off a part of this league since it started, and Fred has always done an amazing job of organizing this and keeping stats and really just making it what it is. It's been a whole lot of fun.
He makes my job a million times easier. You know, for example, he writes these briefings. You know, the league was here in season 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, and last season. Joey Stiers, 2 wins. Josh Lilly, 1 win. Matt Batby, 1 win. Evan Kinney, 1 win. And Vernon Mirgim, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, with 1 win back in season 9. So, again, you know, all these stats are provided by Fred, and he makes my job so much easier, and I really appreciate league owners that do that for me. Meanwhile, back in the front, though, still 2 by 2 are your top 4. Woodruff and Morrison leading the respective lanes. Rossi looking to get some clean air to the radiator on that Toyota. As Woodruff's Ford, West and Morrison's Chevys, and Rossi's Toyota starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Ken Pack, slowly but surely. As we are fast approaching the halfway mark. Blaine, if you would have told me we'd be halfway already, I would have told you were nuts.
Especially with how this race started. You know, we've been green for...
Oh, we got a wreck up at the front, boys.
No.
Blaine, they're wrecking.
Blaine about got turned. Looks like everybody saved it.
We stay green.
Wow.
How
That's
did we
crazy.
stay green? I have no idea how we just stayed green.
Dominic's got heavy right side damage.
He's got heavy nose damage too. You know, let's go back and take a look at what happened there. Keep your eye on Rossi. There he is on the outside lane. Woodruff's going to catch the apron there. It sends the 99 up, and everybody... Oh! Everybody had that well spotted. Excellent heads-up driving for the entire league right there.
Blaine just caught a little bit too much of the apron going into one.
And that has now let Jeremy Morrison get out to about 1.25 seconds to the good. And look who's on the podium. The aforementioned Fred Garcia currently sits plus 23 in third in the 3.
Fred's looking good here. His truck's clean, no damage.
Looking very strong. As we're back live, it's now Garcia making a run on Woodruff as they started to reel Morrison back in. All under up there as well is Morrison going to cover off the top side. He's bound and determined. Morrison's going to make that top lane work as Woodruff takes the lead back over and brings Richter with him. And here comes Trevor Ryan.
Tell you what, it's not much of a surprise. We get to the halfway point, and here comes Trevor Ryan.
I know, shocking, right?
And Blaine's still flirting with the apron.
They just spit him upside the track there as he was chasing it coming off of 2. Luckily, there was nobody there, but that opens the door to Tom Richter now to the point. Oy. Kevin Hayes, first time we've seen him in the top 5 tonight. Back there in 4th. As we are just past the halfway mark, we're going to go side by side, take over Bills, and we'll be back right after this. And we are back at Atlanta for round number 5 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. I'm Tony Trapasso. He's your defending series champion, Lane Osler. And Lane, we just saw some green flag pit stops, and you and I were both agreeing that except for this lead pack of 4, and maybe Chris Smith and Ryan Twenham, everybody else is going to have to come down pit road at least one more time, we think.
Yeah, unless they're pulling some crazy fuel saving, I can't see them being able to make it to the end here. So they got to be either hoping for a caution or they're doing some crazy stuff with fuel mileage.
They're going to be asking for almost 40 out of this tank with only 70% fuel fill. Richter and company are only 2 laps away from not having to pit again if they come in after those 3 laps.
Here comes Chris Smith at the back of that pack now.
So Smith, the first one, it's an outside chance he could make it from here with only 34 laps left in this piece.
Got a report that Tom's pitting this time.
All right, so Tom Richter announced that he is coming in. That's our in-race reporter, Joey Stiers, still muscling that truck around.
So we got Tom, Trevor, and Fred all pitting together. Looks like Kevin's going to go another lap.
What happened to Ryan?
Ryan got damage on that last wreck that didn't cause the caution. He got damage in that, he said.
It looks like he just hand grenaded the engine. Let's back that up a lap and see if we can see it. We're riding on board with Twenham. You can see the temp gauge is a little bit higher than I'd like to see him.
Yeah, just got a report for the 8 team. It just blew under him.
We just heard it hand grenade going into 3 on that previous lap.
He said he had no warning at all. It just blew up on him.
His Hayes is now on pit road. Richter and Ryan got out clean.
Tom and Trevor are going to be in full control of this race now. They've got a pretty big lead on the guys behind them.
Counting 4 seconds back to Fred Garcia. His Hayes is coming out of pit road now. So there
yeah,
is
it's gonna depend on if Fred and Chris can link up with Kevin. I think the 3 of those trucks should be able to run a little bit quicker than the 2, but depends on how well they're able to stay in line.
So Tom and Trevor is currently pulling a gap on Kevin. And Kevin's starting to give up some time to Fred Garcia, who's bringing Chris Smith with him. Smith now gets by Garcia and tries to reel in Hayes. So Tom Richter, plus 12. Trevor Ryan, plus 9 in second. Kevin Hayes, plus 15 back in third. Chris Smith, plus 17 back in fourth. And there's Fred Garcia, plus 21 back in fifth. And Jeremy Morrison is flat losing time to these guys, as he's got Blaine Woodruff right behind him, and Ken Holland, and Ken Pack as well. Meanwhile, back up at the front of this piece, Richter and Ryan are just pulling away from everybody.
Yeah, they're working really well together. They're putting down really fast laps right now.
Well, there's some of the last 2 to bring it down pit side. And they shouldn't have to worry about fuel too much.
Well, The question's going to be is with Tom's leading, so at some point they might have to switch so that Tom can save some fuel. As of right now, Trevor can save quite a bit of fuel and still be able to push, but Tom's pretty much wide open this whole time.
They are at that. But again, Trevor Ryan not really pushing the issue right now. Tom Richter currently showing the way. Take a quick look here. Proud Pennsylvania Posse member Tom Richter out of Allentown. I spent a week in Allentown one night. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat. Nate Brown, not a happy camper. But Richter and Ryan have stretched it out to 7.5 seconds now. As Chris Smith leading that chase group. And I'm thinking they'd be better off a little bit with maybe Kevin Hayes leading the pack. Hayes was the last one down pit road. He's got the freshest tires and the most fuel, but he might be doing a little fuel conservation just to make sure he can make it. Fred Garcia had to chase it uphill coming off of 2. Caught that bump all sorts of wrong.
Yeah, I don't think Chris leading that group is going to be what gets them back up there. He's still nursing a little bit of damage. They're going to have to do something different.
And just like that, the 2 Chevys gang up on the outside. They just saw a flash from Richter and Ryan. Thought maybe there might have been a pass, but it looked like this might have been connection issues. And they've now stretched that lead out to 9.5 seconds. Good grief.
Yeah, it seems like Fred's fighting a loose truck right now. If they can't get lined up, there's no catching them.
Yeah, no. Kevin's got to get in front of Fred to tighten Fred up.
Yeah, that truck. I'm willing to bet that he didn't take tires on the last pit stop.
Who, Garcia?
Yeah.
Yeah, he took 4.
Oh. That truck is just a handful then.
Yes, it is. He was involved in one of the earlier ones. You can see just a little bit of body damage on the right bedside. Chi, isn't that who Kyle Busch is driving for this season?
That is a Kyle Busch sponsorship.
I thought so.
There's the switch. We got Trevor Ryan taking the lead over.
Yep. Tom Richter.
Yes.
Those 2 guys hanging on to it pretty good. 21 laps to go. These guys should be able to make it from here. Now, from 6th on back, I don't know. Jeremy Morrison was last down on lap 57. That's a big ask. Blaine Woodruff, Ken Allen. They're probably going to have to come down for a splash and go. But right now, it's the Trevor and Tom show still at the front of this piece. 10.5 seconds up the road from that second group that consists of Fred Garcia, Kevin Hayes, and Chris Smith. And they've got a 5.25 second gap over this other peloton with Jeremy Morrison, Blaine Woodruff, Ken Allen, and Ken Pack. Then you're another 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds back to that group being led by Avram Gaston, which includes Shane Calhoun, Brian Toole, and Larry Stubblefield.
Yeah, looking at the results right now, it looks like we have half of the cars that started on the lead lap.
You are correct. 13 of 26, and a ton of retirements. Twinham out. Dominic Rossi out. Jay Culp out. Tim Cook out. TJ Allen out. Tommy Osborne, Stephen Tuck, David Connell, Nate Brown, Jamie LaRoque, all out early. Greg Barnett still plugging away at it. Joey Stiers has spent the last 6.25 minutes on pit road trying to get some damage repaired on the 23.
I think Greg, if he was looking to pick up any more spots, he's just about out of laps now.
Potentially 2 more positions he can gain.
Potentially one. There's only 17 laps left.
He can get my spot and Ryan's.
Ryan's got 2 more laps, so Greg's running out of time. And he's off pace as well. Now he's in. So that basically ends that.
I think the question that I want answered right now is how is Trevor and Tom going to finish this race? Are they gonna play nice all the way to the checkered, or is Tom going to go for it?
I mean, Tom's really got nothing to lose by trying to go for it. I mean, he's 12.5 seconds to the good. Race Trevor to the line if you can. Because Fred Garcia is, in third right now, 12.5 seconds and climbing behind.
I think if I was in Tom's shoes, maybe with about 5 laps to go, I would start looking at backing away from Trevor to see if I could get a run.
Yeah, I would be thinking about the same thing. I'd maybe wait till 3 to go. And then popsicle sticks, put the foot to the floor, and you should pull alongside him on the white flag.
Wow, we've got some guys pitting late here.
There's some guys that are going to need to. And just as I thought, Morrison, Woodruff, Pack, all in. Could not make it on fuel. Next one that's going to be on the bubble is going to be Shane Calhoun and Brian Toole. Larry Stubblefield as well. Those guys are going to have to come down one more time. Same thing with Ken Allen. Checking back up here for battle for third. Hayes just trying to ride it out behind Garcia. 13 laps to go, using Garcia as the proverbial fuel pig. We are 12 to go. Trevor, Ryan, Tom Richter, Fred Garcia, Kevin Hayes, and Chris Smith. Your top 5. Excuse me. 10 laps to go. Ryan and Richter still at the front of this piece. Make that 9 to go now. And the gap was stretched to 15 seconds.
Now we're getting to the point where the last thing that those guys want to see is a caution.
I think the last thing anybody wants to see right now is a caution. As it looks like our in-race reporter, Joey Stiers, has a little bit more speed back in that truck.
Yeah, we got about 13 more mile an hour here. So, oh, we got a yellow out, boys. We got a yellow.
For what? Ah, crap. Oh, that would explain that. It's that group that just came off of pit road. Morrison and Woodruff getting into each other going into one. Woodruff coming out on the losing end of that whole exchange.
Looks like a typical plate track thing. Blaine kind of checked up after getting right to the bumper of Brian, and Jeremy just didn't see it in time and ran in the back of him.
Well, there was a small opening there. There's almost enough room. But Woodruff was closing the hole quickly. And yeah, that just... Oops.
Yeah, I imagine that wasn't Jeremy's intention, was to go for the hole. More than likely, he just got caught off guard.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
How about this shakeup, giving Fred Garcia a chance at the win here at the end of this race?
He's going to have to be on this restart, but this is going to be the best shot he's had all night. But take a look behind him, though. A lot of guys taking that final set of tires.
I do believe we're going to have a natural green-white checker here, too.
Might
just about.
It'll be close. It'll be maybe green, white checker. Either way, Ryan and Richter have got to be about ready to start kicking puppies. 15 seconds to the good, and the caution comes out. And with as ill handling as that 3 truck has been, I'm surprised Fred didn't come down for his final set of tires.
Yeah, as much of a handful that truck was earlier in the race, it's going to be so much worse now. Even we're going to be in a bigger pack. The speeds are going to be up a little bit more probably. It's going to be wild.
And you take a look at Kevin Hayes in 5th. He's got 4 fresh tires. Abram Gaston, who's been quick all season, 4 fresh tires. Shane Calhoun, Brian Toole, everybody behind him took their final set of tires. We are 5 to go, lights out on the pace car.
It's going to be interesting to see who can get hooked up here and push themselves to the front. It's also going to be interesting to see what the 18 and the 34 here do. If one of them holds up and lets the other in front of them.
Well, that's just it. They've got to wait till after the Geico restart zone to do that. But it's going to be Katie bar the door, that's for sure. I don't think we're going to finish on regular time. I honestly have a feeling right now we're going into overtime, especially with how many drivers have fresh tires and how many drivers don't in front of them.
And it's going to be really important for the 18 and the 34 not to get too far out in front this first lap under green.
It absolutely is. They got to treat this like a Daytona or a Talladega restart. If they get more than a truck length and a half out, they're going to be sitting ducks by the time they get to the backstretch. Pace car is in. Into the Geico restart zone we go.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out. Ryan drops the hammer. Richter goes with him. Garcia blinks. Here comes Hayes on the inside of Smith on the fresh shoes. Hayes already up to fourth. Ryan and Richter get single filed out pretty quick. They're still too wide behind them. Smith and Gaston go door to door. Here comes Hayes to the outside of Garcia. 3 to go.
Kevin's got a great run, but he doesn't have any help yet.
No, he doesn't. The 34 is pinching up. Here comes Gaston.
Here comes the 22. He's going to give him a push.
And now we've got a race, folks. Trevor Ryan on the low side. Kevin Hayes on the top shelf. Tom Richter on the low side helping Ryan. 2 to go.
Don't count that 51 out. He is there.
All the 22 has to do is get to his back bumper. .51 with a nose out front, going into 3. Ryan battles back on the inside. Contact coming off the 4. White flag is in the air, and we are racing back to checkers. Richter giving all his help he can. They're almost side drafting, almost contact. Going into 3. Hayes is pinching down. Ryan's pinching up. Still door to door. Off of turn number 4 they come. Checker flag in the air. Kevin Hayes wins
got it. He got it. That was incredible. We've been talking about the high line being the dominant all day, and Kevin made it work there.
He absolutely did, with a lot of help from Gaston in the double deuce. And there you can see it, half a fender at the line.
That is an impressive win right there. And honestly, props to everybody in the top 10 there. They all raced clean that whole last couple of laps.
They absolutely did. That's the type of racing we've come to enjoy here in the Clean Racing.net Truck Series. As Hayes does his best Jimmy Johnson impersonation.
Yeah, Kevin's going to have to work on his donuts here a little bit.
What a finish. Kevin Hayes out of Indianapolis coming home with the victory. And joining us now is the man who came home in 3rd place, Mr. Tom Richter. Tom, all things considered, you got a podium, but how mad are you? Because you guys had a 15-second gap at one point.
Yeah, I don't need the 15 seconds there, Tony. No, no, it's all right. I mean, we kind of came in here looking to kind of just survive the night, right? You didn't know really what Atlanta was going to provide as far as racing goes. A couple of early cautions, and got through a couple of those. And I said, if I can just come out of here with the top 5 or so, get a decent points night, go in Sakota, because I'm going to need to stack them up because I'm not going to get them there.
Well, had the caution not come out, Lane and I were talking that if it were us, between 3 to 5 to go, we would have backed off a little bit to try to get a run on the final 2 laps. Were you planning on racing Ryan for the victory?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Trevor and I are teammates. We've been racing each other for a long time. But when it comes down to it, right, Gonna give him everything I got, and I know he's gonna do the same for me. So I was really just kind of watching that pack in front of us. I don't know what place it was, 7th, 8th, 9th, or whatever it was that we were starting to catch. And I thought for a second that was going to become a factor, was those lap vehicles that we were catching, but the caution came out before that happened.
Well, technically it was that pack of lap vehicles you were catching that brought out the caution. But, Tom, we're going to let you go celebrate. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
Well, Tony, I want to thank you for doing this. Want to thank Fred for putting on the league, all the admins here. We found this league late last season, had a great time running over here, some great competition. Want to congratulate Kevin on the win. That was an awesome run up on the top side, and I, of course, got to thank my teammate for working with me all night, and came up just a smidge short, coming home third.
And you were talking about, of course, our points leader, Trevor Ryan, who's joining us now. Trevor, same thing I asked Tom. How mad were you when that caution came out?
We weren't too happy. Well, you wouldn't want to hurt our team radio, I'll tell you that much.
Probably would have lost our PG-13 status.
I would say so.
But, I mean, you guys had an excellent run. You had a great strategy going. Did you have an extra set of tires in the closing laps?
Yeah, throughout the race, I only took right side tires one time, so I had plenty sitting in the pits if need be.
Fair enough. But the series moves into Coda next week as we get over the first road course of the season. What are your thoughts going into that one?
It's gonna be fun. It's not a track that I would consider myself very good at, but I know that do a little practice and we'll be ready for a great race next week.
All right. Who do you need to thank, Trevor, before we let you go?
Sorry, one more time.
Who do you need to thank before we let you go?
Oh, sorry. I want to thank you for doing the broadcast. It's fun to watch these back. I want to thank Freddie for running this place. It's a great league, like Tom was saying, reiterate pretty much everything he had to say. Everybody here, I want to thank Tom for working with me during the race, and I want to congratulate Kevin on getting the win because he probably deserved it at Vegas when he ran short on fuel, so I'm glad to see him get it done.
All right, Trevor, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Coda. And joining us now, the man of the hour, the man who I have watched race for 2.5 years in this league. Finally, I get a chance to talk to you in Victory Lane. Congratulations, Kevin Hayes.
Thanks, Tony. It's this is Freddie does a great job with this league. I cannot commit to run every night or every Monday night. I got some other commitments, but when I come in, I always race clean.
And you're quick everywhere we go.
Yeah, I try to stay as clean as I possibly can. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing a couple weeks ago there at Vegas. I could not get the fuel mileage right, but this is just a great league. I mean, Trevor's new, but they're all really good drivers. All of them are really, really good drivers.
Well, Kevin, I'm going to tell you something that my father always used to tell me. Old age and treachery will overcome youth and skill on any given Sunday. And here it is on a Monday, and old age and treachery with a fresh set of tires grabbed you that win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, I am, 68. So I've been doing this for ever since 10 and way back into Papayas days, even way back on Hawaii days. I've been doing this for a long time.
I remember those days. I remember landline days too.
Yes, and those long distance phone bills. Oh my God. Yeah, the wife didn't like that. But no, this is a great league. Thanks to Freddie, thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and I'll be around on the Mondays I can make it. So thanks a lot. Have a good evening.
Are we going to see you next week at Coda?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. But Kevin, again, congratulations. I've been rooting for you for 2.5 years to pull this victory off. Congratulations on finally getting that top step on a broadcasted race. Well done, my friend. Is there anybody else you need to thank before we turn you loose?
My Team Palmetto. Been racing with those guys since the early days. They provide a lot of insight, and that's how I've learned the racecraft through them. So thanks, Palmetto.
All right, Kevin Hayes, again, congratulations. Well-deserved victory. We will see you hopefully a couple more times this season, but and hopefully we'll be talking to you in on the podium again before the season ends.
All righty. You guys have a good night. Thanks for broadcasting it.
There you heard from our top three, as we're going to bring up our finishing order now. Hopefully, there it goes. Kevin Hayes, Trevor Ryan, Tom Richter, your top three. Avram Gaston just missing out on the podium. In fourth, Fred Garcia with a top five. Chris Smith hanging on for six. Shane Calhoun, Brian Toole, Ken Allen, Ken Pack rounding out your top 10. Larry Stubblefield rounding out your lead lap trucks. Jeremy Morrison in 12th. Blaine Woodruff, Stephen West, Joe Stiers in 15th. Greg Barnett 16th. Ryan Twinham 17th. Dominic Rossi in 18th. 19th is going to go to Jay Culp, Tim Cook, rounding out your top 20. TJ Allen, Tommy Osborne, Nate Brown, David Connell, Jamie LaRoque, and Stephen Tuck rounding out your field of starters here tonight. Lane, thank you so much for joining me in the booth tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you. You're welcome to join me anytime you don't feel like driving. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for making us a part of your Monday evening. It's been our pleasure to bring this to you tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you next week from Circuit of the Americas. And in the meantime, until we meet again, as you walk down the road of life this week, do me a favor. Don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.